Grab bag, training camp style, AFC South. True or false? False. True or false? Treylon Burks will emerge as the clear Titans' #1 receiver by week 1.
I'm going to say false here. Not that he's going to be, he'll be the clear #2, let's say. But he is a guy that I think is coming out of college, maybe lacks a little polish with route running and things like that. He's one of those guys where you just go, we got to get the ball in his hand. But I think Robert Woods early on is going to be the guy. And slowly, Treylon Burks, as the year goes along, will get more of a piece of the pie as we go. So I'll say false on that one.
I feel bad for Treylon Burks. He didn't ask for this. It was an honor and a privilege to be drafted by the Titans to be the replacement for A.J. Brown. The science experiment that the Titans are trying to engage in, hey, we're not going to pay this guy $25 million. We're just going to let him go and backfill with a first-rounder. More pressure on Treylon Burks. Has been issues with asthma. I've seen some reporting suggesting he's struggling. He's buried on the second team. I think it's false. I think it will be Robert Woods. And I just think it's extra pressure. We just talked about how these are human beings. This is a young guy, and he has stepped into a spot. There's going to be greater scrutiny and pressure and higher expectations because the Titans, his employer, has created this situation where we just expect him to be A.J. Brown. And I think it's a lot for a 21, 22-year-old to deal with. Fill in the blank. The Colts' most important receiver after Michael Pittman will be who, Chris?
Oh, all right. This is somebody that I've been talking about for a while here, and I'm going to say Paris Campbell, okay? Paris Campbell, to me, they've been unlucky. He's been unlucky. A guy coming out of Ohio State, we know these Ohio State receivers, they can go, they can make plays. When he's been on the field, he has shown the ability to be superstar-ish, but he has not been able to stay healthy. I think you get him, to come along with Michael Pittman and maybe Alec Pierce and some of the other guys they got to round out the roster there, it would change my thought of them as a football team. So I'm going to go with Paris Campbell there, a guy that they haven't got a lot out of, but I still got hope that he can kind of show up and really kind of be a big-time presence for their football team.
I'm going to go with Alec Pierce, the rookie out of Cincinnati. The reason they went to go work out Desmond Ridder, they wanted to see Alec Pierce. Chris Ballard, the GM, told me after the draft, they wanted to see how he ran his routes, how he came out of his breaks. And Ballard then was like, well, he's got to earn it. He's got to earn his spot like everybody else. But all indications are he's been earning it since day one. And he's got the chance to be really good, especially with Matt Ryan there. What, you changed your mind?
I had him as a top 5 receiver, and it's one that I took him out, and had some people in the NFL point some things out to me, but I'm still mad I did that. It's one of those where I wish Pete would have been like, hey, we've learned from this before, you've done that, don't do it. Because some of the things that he wasn't great at are very easily, they're learned things that you can learn. His physical ability is there, like you talk about with that workout. I wouldn't be surprised it's him. I mean, I think he's definitely going to have a big role. I'm just hoping Paris Campbell can, add to that as well.
Was Chris Ballard one of those people because he wanted Alec Pierce to fall so he could draft him? I mean, we know how that game goes.
No, it was not. It was
always
not one of
beware.
those
Always
right.
beware the criticism that comes pre-draft from
Right.
somebody who really secretly wants a guy. What's more likely? Davis Mills is the unquestioned Texans starter by week 1, or the Texans bring in a veteran, Jimmy Garoppolo, to compete with him?
I'm going to say he's the unquestioned starter by week 1. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the teams where we've discussed Jimmy Garoppolo, like, okay, he might be there till Saturday before the first game of the season, and then, okay, that next few days he gets signed by the Houston Texans, and they have him there for a just in case. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if that's really likely, but I think they're in on Davis Mills, and they're going to see what they got here. I think Nick Caserio thinks in a lot of ways that maybe they got a Tom Brady-ish type steal guy where, hey, we got a starter in the 3rd round that we think, can really help our football team. Is he a 2nd or a 3rd rounder? I think he was a 3rd
rounder.
Yeah, okay.
3rd rounder. They wanted Kellen Mond. They wanted your guy, Kellen Mond.
I know.
The Vikings got him right before, so the next choice for them was Davis Mills.
Yeah, and we'll see with Kellen Mond. I know he's opened some eyes up there with some of his talent, so we'll see where that goes.
I think Mills will be the week 1 starter. I think if they were going to make a move for Garoppolo, they would have done it by now. He's been available for 15 days on a fire sale basis, and the Texans haven't made a move. Jaguars, which doesn't belong and why? Young first-round picks. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Trayvon Walker, which doesn't belong and why?
Ooh. I'm going to just say I'm going to say Travis Etienne just because I don't know what his role is with the team yet, I guess, a little bit. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Trayvon Walker, starting defense, and, Etienne, you brought this up last week. James Robinson's really damn good. Etienne, we've been talking about, wide receiver reps, running back reps. Not that I'm doubting how good of a player he can be. I want to see the role exactly and how they're going to use him and what he looks like coming off a foot injury when, you're a running back and you got to do that. He does have some Alvin Kamara type skills to him. Yeah, I guess I'm unsure exactly what we're going to get from him within the rhythm of the offense.
I'm going to say Walker just because when you're that first overall pick,
yeah,
there's a greater expectation, and how do you ever manage to live up to it? I remember when the Texans took Mario Williams instead of Reggie Bush in 2006. Like, well, you basically got to be Reggie White. You got to have 3 sacks a game because everybody thought Reggie Bush was going to be the next Gale Sayers. It helped Mario Williams that Bush never became
right
at the NFL level what he was at the college level. That really helped Mario Williams in comparison. But the thinking at the time was, we've got a guy who's going to revolutionize the sport offensively in Reggie Bush. Mario Williams never justifies his draft spot.
Right.
And how does Trayvon Walker, how does he do it when you have the number 1 overall pick from last year, Trevor Lawrence, when you have Travis Etienne? I guess the only good news is it's another pass rusher that was taken number 2 in Aiden Hutchinson. But I just think there's going to be kind of a weird vibe and pressure. And as Hutchinson becomes the darling of Hard Knocks, we saw him last night with the Billie Jean and how the guys went crazy. You're going to have some Jaguars fans thinking, maybe we got the wrong guy. So I just think it's going to be harder for him to prove himself and to earn his spot than it will be for the other guys.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, the spotlight's on him because of that Aiden Hutchinson conversation and because of, what you heard me say a little bit in the pregame the other night when we did the Jags-Raiders game is, he didn't have a lot of sacks at Georgia. Can he really be the number 1 pick? And, again, you and I discussed this a lot during the draft process. He was not put in a position to just go rush and sack the quarterback. That's not the type of defense they played. Life will be simpler. They're going to just go, hey, get out here and get after the quarterback. Don't worry about everything else. And hopefully he can kind of show his skill set that way and prove some of those haters wrong.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.